In this quick video guide, we're going to see how we can use some example scenes from blender.org to start to study or, deepen our knowledge in Blender if you're already using it, or, start to understand a little bit better what Blender is about. So at this moment, we are at the Blender 4.2 version. So I can go here, download Blender anytime. It's totally free and open source. I can donate if I want. And down here, I find all the different links, which will get me to the various areas of the website. Website is really big. It contains everything about Blender. So all the previous releases with the various features that is going to be also updated every time, so that in each release we have new features, we have new updates, etc. So that's the download button right there if you want to download this version. And if you go here, new in Blender 4.3, this is the current version with the current updates. And if you are curious and you want to learn more about this, you can just also go here, releases. The releases page will show you all the releases that were previously published. And you can go down, well, this is about Blender in general. If you go into features, if you go in download and releases, it will tell you like each release which new updates brought to the table. And also it's important to know that we can use Blender on any operative system. So we can use it on Linux, Mac, Windows. So it's pretty useful because we are not limited to Windows or Mac. And then we have here, again, back to the releases, all the pages that will give you more information on that. So if I go in the 4.3, which is the last one, well, it's going to show me here the download link and then this splash screen, which you will see when you open up Blender 4.3. There is also a video explaining all the new stuff and also some quick animation like this. For example, here we have some extended functionality for the lining. So apparently we can like exclude objects from lining. And then we have metallic. So essentially a new node to have better and quicker access to metallic materials. And then we have new texture features and etc. etc. So compositor for compositing, and then slim UVs to create mapping and unwrap mapping. So, in every aspect of the software, there are always updates. There is a new gizmo and new here geometry nodes features. And let's continue here. And then we have this other like kind of library that we can drag and drop and create arrays and so much more. So there is a lot of stuff in each version. So the more you go down, I think the less interesting is the update. But you can see that some are for specifically for brushing, some are for sculpting, etc. And you can donate again if you want to support Blender because it's a totally free open source. You can do really a lot of things with Blender. It's a complete software. It's so big. You can do so many different things for 2D animation, 3D animation. Now we have come here to the almost to the end of the page. And this is where we can get the artwork, meaning that we can download this scene and we can see how it's done, like in the backstage. So you can download the splash files right here, or we can call it a sample or an example of how things are made in this Blender version. So if you click there, it's just going to ask you where you want to save it. And once it's done, you will have everything you need. So the entire Blender scene right there. So I want to skip this. I want to show you another one that I think is really interesting for architects and designer. And also want to show you that this is not the only example you can get. Now, if you don't down there, nothing to see. But if we go in the previous releases, like 4.2, now this is the splash screen, and that's the scene that you will find. If you go all the way down again, there you go. That's the button for downloading this other scene. So each version, each previous Blender version comes with a splash screen and with a scene that you can download. And I think this one here, 4.1, it's really, really interesting, again, for designers and architects. So it's an interior. So if you click there, you can download it. You can donate again if you want, and then here, there you go. This is the file, which I'm gonna call like Blender Arc Interior, and I'm gonna save. Okay, once it's saved, it's downloading right there. So once it's downloaded, I can open it up and I can explore, I can study that specific scene. And there you go, you can go all the way back to 4.3.2 versions, so 4.0, 2.0. So also the various updates. So the various releases, every release comes with a new sample file. So we have exteriors, landscape, cartoonish scenes, like game scenes, and so on. So there is a lot of stuff to see here. So you can continue to go down and down, and the more you go down, you will see the earlier versions where you have less interesting 3D scene, less interesting 3D rendering. So you can see also the evolution of Blender, which has been a lot. So now let's open the scene. So I'm gonna go in my folder where I store that scene, and I'm going to open it up here. So double click, and that's all we need to do. So just wait a few seconds and it's gonna open up. It depends on how big it's a scene, of course. And there you go. Now this is the 3D model, so we cannot see the textures, we cannot see the rendering. This is just the 3D shapes. So I can start to click and select and see all the models that have been used. Now the interface is a little bit different from the standard interface. If I click on the little camera, I can go outside the camera, I can start to orbit around, so I can see the scene like from the backstage point of view. So it looks like a set from a TV series or a movie, so you don't need to create the whole building. Just create one big interior, the most important one, and then you can just leave the rest. The important thing is what it goes into the camera point of view. Everything that is outside the camera range or the camera view, we don't really care. And so now we can start to click and select all these little models like we can see here also on the hierarchy panel, how they have been organized, so we can study how professional work can be done with folders and colors, groups and hierarchy. So everything is nice and organized, especially for really big scenes, really complex scenes with a lot of props, a lot of details. It's really important to keep things as much organized as possible. And so also I can study how lights were positioned to simulate a determined effect. So area lights or point lights or spotlights or the sunlight. Now the materials, if I want to see the materials, I need to click on the third sphere, and I need to wait a little bit because they need to be compiled. So you can see that here, well, I'm using the cycles rendering. It's using the cycle rendering because it's the most advanced, but also you need to give it a time. So you need to give it a time to compile the shaders, meaning that it's going to upload the or update the materials. And also, if you go in the render mode, you need to have time, a little bit of time to render to see it properly. But everything is set up. If you see here, there are render settings that you can use. So you can take this entire scene, maybe delete everything and just keep the render setting or keep the lighting or keep the interior and change the interior. So you can make it your own. You can study, you can, whatever, you can use it for learning. And also here for the lights, you select the lights, you have the properties of that light. So that's the portal light there, just outside the window. And then if you select the object, you can get the material. I can also like divide, let me click in the corner here and divide this into two. So in one, I can like focus on the structure of the architecture of the scene. In the other one, I can go into the camera and just have that point of view. And again, I'm gonna move this up like this. So now I can see both. I can see like the backstage from the top. I can see the camera view. And if I split, I want to split this once more from the corner, click and drag. And I want to show you that also you can, customize the interface. So for example, I can add here the shader editor so I can see the materials and the textures that have been used, etc., etc. Of course, this is all gonna be difficult if you don't know anything about Blender, but you can start to, have a clue. And if you want, there are videos, video guides, video courses in the channel about Blender and also about other 3D software and 3D rendering. So go and check them, go and check the channel because we really publish a lot of interesting stuff. Now, I want to also take off all the overlays here so I have a nice picture, a nice rendering, and if I like it, again, I can study more and I can use it for my own. So we're gonna publish more about Blender and also the upcoming versions. So stay updated by subscribing to the channel. And also, if you wanna thank us, if you wanna support us, you can join the channel as a supporter. So thanks for watching this video and see you in the next.